Scorpio Ophiuchus, welcome to your monthly Sidereal Astrology forecast for February of 2016. I'm Athen, and this is for Sidereal Astrology, very different from mainstream astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to click the link for more information. All right, so this month we're still coming off of that awareness about our life path, things expanding, seeing what's possible with our future, which has been Jupiter conjoining up to that North Node. Now, this is a North Node which has been in your 11th house, where I think the past couple of years have been more in alignment with support for you to connect to your friends or to your groups or to your networks and to follow your visions for the future. But now things are going into the career side of things, or the legacy, or your public life now for the next 2 years. So this isn't very personal as much as feeling it, but you'll notice that by channeling in and by putting in good energy to cultivate your career life, your work life, there is a lot of support for you. And you're probably already seeing a lot of this since Jupiter has been transiting that 10th for the past 6 months already. But with this conjunction, it's really combining what's possible with the future. And so the first half of the month, they're still within that 1 degree orb. So still plenty of positive outlooks, or at least big picture perspectives that can be implemented through free will. The nodes are all about free will choices, but through free will so that you can cultivate more of that legacy. Now, that's going to be the backdrop of the first half. Now, on the 5th and 6th, we do have Venus going over Pluto, your modern day ruler. So to an extent, because this is a ruler of yours, you could be feeling quite good on some level, maybe feeling like you're looking good, feeling good with Venus over that ruler. But in either case, Venus does rule your 7th house of relationships. So there could be some transformations and some things being cleared out with the old. So like I always say with Pluto, to be open to change with, in this case, your one-to-one connections. And also maybe see where you can have more peace, more harmony, more presence in your life, which is Venus who rules your 12th house as well. So that's going to be the 5th and 6th. Then on the 8th, we do have a new moon in Capricorn. So there are new beginnings, as there always is. And these new beginnings are going to be involving your 3rd house of communications and of your perspective and learning, reading, writing. I think that's already been an area of focus for you with the sun there to some extent, maybe socializing for some of you. So planting new seeds with this now at the very low cycle of this lunar cycle. And then as the month unfolds, you'll feel more of this stuff cultivating. So great around the 8th to reflect, to go within and see where you can perhaps learn more, where you can have more of a practical approach to life. Apply a lot of what's possible into the tangible sense, and maybe reflect on how you communicate, how you interact, and how you just normally go about the daily or immediate activities. Now on the 9th, we do have some very nice aspects starting on the 9th, involving your ruler Mars. This is your traditional ruler. Mars is actually very well aspected this month, which is good for you guys. So around the 9th, he's going to be trining up to Chiron. So you guys could be feeling quite healed, quite rejuvenated, maybe with your assertiveness, just with who you are, what you're involved with, where you're headed. Now, a lot of this is very reflective and maybe even quite passive in your approach with Mars in your 12th house. So a lot of you might be getting that meditative time, that alone time. But I think just the way you're doing things is just much more in a relaxing or willing to go with the flow sort of attitude, which I think is good. And I think that's a good way of working with it in either way. So a lot of that can be quite healing, but in either case, I think you guys will be feeling quite rejuvenated, maybe even quite confident and assertive around this middle part of the month. Now on the 13th and 18th, Mars will be sextiling up to that North Node Jupiter conjunction. So you guys have a lot of that positive energy, at least an opening for that with the sextile, where I think you believe in yourself, you have the energy, you got the motivation, you can focus on these things, which again are unfolding for you to cultivate what you consider your life path and your legacy, and maybe even your career specifically for a lot of you. Now on the 14th, we've got the sun going into Aquarius. So this is where the shifting point is of the month, here about mid-month, going towards your more home, family, reflective, and your health sector, which is the 4th. So you probably notice your energy levels are, although you're feeling good probably with all these good aspects to your ruler, on this level, it's just more reflective. And I think if you are noticing your energy levels are a bit low, it's because the sun's at the bottom of your chart like it normally is this time of year. But you'll notice as the months progress, you're probably gaining more of that energy. But here's the best way to work with this energy. With the sun in the 4th house, it's to focus on your home, focus on your family, on your health, anything that you consider your roots or things that are important to you in life on your sentimental level. That's where you'll have a good, tremendous amount of expression. You have a good, tremendous amount of prana, energy, and I think motivation in general, which can unlock that sun energy. Now, Mercury at the same time is going into your third, so things won't stop being about the intellectual, communicative, and learning aspect, especially with Mercury in here. I think a lot of you can find that specifically the second half. You might just be learning more, reading, writing, and I think it's an excellent time for that and learning more about yourself in the process. Now, on the 17th, Venus goes into that third house, so you can enjoy it. Going into next month, I think there's a lot of enjoyment to be had, maybe more interactive, communicative aspects to your relationships as well. Now, on the 23rd, Jupiter does oppose up to Chiron. All right, so this is particularly important for you Ophiuchuses out there, since Chiron is your modern ruler. So here there's this, optimism, and this has been already ongoing since last year, the past few months with this aspect. So it's good to stay nice and balanced, nice and grounded. Now, this is for all of you, staying balanced and grounded, particularly with the home stuff or the family things that you might be focused on, or your health that you might be going through healing with, or those other areas you might be going through healing with all of this big picture stuff. Right? And so for you Ophiuchuses, if you are feeling that optimism, staying nice and grounded in that, but still seeing where you can take, for both of you, take these roots, these emotional anchors, your past, understanding more about yourself, more about your soul, where you come from, and how that can be channeled into, and that insight can help you channel energy into your career, because this really is the focal point. This is where the energy is very much supporting you, but you want to make sure you're nice and balanced, not going to either just all focused on, the career stuff and that kind of thing. You're also balancing it with whatever home, family, and your personal life matters might be going on this month. So that'll be the 23rd. And also around the 23rd, on the 23rd, we got a full moon in Leo in that 10th house. So this is all culminating now, particularly over the past 6 months, if you've been involved with anything in regards to career or that legacy or your public image or productive things. So there's a lot of awareness to be had at the full moon. Could be culmination for some of you, but seeing that awareness, and it's a great time to reflect at that time, to meditate, but to actively pursue it. The full moon, there's a lot of energy, and you can implement this more productive side, of this future-oriented side, into the other areas of your life. Now on the 28th, the sun goes over Neptune. So this is really going to be activating the fact that the past many years, around the past 5, 6, 7 years, you've had this faith and trust with needed with your home and family, or with your health. This has been Neptune at the bottom of your chart. So it's about connecting to your body, connecting to your personal life on that intuitive level, and really feeling it and accepting things for how they are there. And that's really going to help that easygoingness come through. And I think that's just going to be illuminated here around the 28th with the sun over Neptune. You can really see that. There's a lot of spiritual awareness usually at this time if we choose to do that. But again, it's not about seeing the details of it, right? It's not so much about understanding the details of those fourth house things, as much as it's willing to go with the flow, have faith and trust, and know that everything is unfolding in that department in divine timing. All right, Scorpio Ophiuchus, so have a great month. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.